Browns, Texans kick us off. 2 games Saturday, the rest on Sunday. Public's all over Flacco. Joe Flacco, Joe Cool. 9 years since his last postseason game, 2014. He lost at New England. A lot of people did that at the hands of Brady and Belichick. Did you know he is 10-5 overall in the playoffs? It's a pretty damn good record. 10-5. Obviously won the Super Bowl when he went 4-0 in 2012, 2013. As guess who he beat? I forgot, right? It was the Harbaugh Bowl. It wasn't just John Harbaugh as a Super Bowl winner and Jim Harbaugh as the Super Bowl runner up. It was the Harbaugh Bowl. They faced each other. John beat Jim. Jim never went back. Kaepernick situation, gets fired and then makes the leap to Michigan. You have his tenure there. He couldn't really get it done. He's 0-2 in the playoff game. Gets suspended this year for the sign stealing scandal. Still wins the damn thing. And now he's apparently coming back. But you've got Joe Flacco without Harbaugh now. He signs with Cleveland after he's been a journeyman forever. Jets, backup quarterback here, filling quarterback there. Basically, I don't think unretires, but after sitting at home doing nothing, he wasn't doing the broadcast circuit like Matt Ryan is doing. He signs on to a great defense. I would have loved Matt Ryan to do something like this year. Not the Colts. I thought maybe this was going to be what Matt Ryan and the Colts were last year. No. Now, there was a lot more problems than just Matt Ryan's poor play. The offensive line fell apart. Turns out Frank Wright's a terrible coach, which we knew in Indianapolis in that final swan song. And then we had Jeff Saturday. It was just a mess. Opposite of a mess for Joe Flacco, and he's got to be loving life. He's taking naps on the sideline. He's old. He's just here to do a job. And so far, so good. He's been doing it. I love this Texans team. I love D'Amico Ryans. I love CJ Stroud. I randomly have a 60-1 future on them to win the AFC, which was not looking great as of a few weeks ago. And now there's a shot. The odds are a lot better. I think it's 1/3 now, down to like 18-20 to 1. But first time here, rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. Don't get me wrong, Stefanski and the dumpster fire that the Cleveland Browns franchise isn't much to say, hey, they're going to get this done. But the defense, Myles Garrett, Stefanski is a good coach. We'll see what he does in the playoffs, right? And a Joe Flacco guy that's obviously done it in the playoffs. Not since 9 years ago, plus, but 10-5. And get this, an undefeated 5-0 in the wild card round. He's favored to make it 6-0, but he's also very public Joe for public Joe Flacco. Public all over the Chiefs, and that scares the hell out of me as a guy that took the Chiefs for 10U in the summer, right? Because I just, fresh off seeing them win the damn thing, have a good draft. I think they have the tools to go back. I took them to win the AFC, yes, but they don't look like the Chiefs, right? So that's scary. And all the public is on the Chiefs this weekend in Kansas City. That scares the hell out of me because the Chiefs like to play with their food, and now they just really don't even have the weapons to be able to do that, right? We all remember, ha ha ha, we're laughing. They're down 14-0 at home to the Texans and Deshaun Watson. Boom. They win 51-34, blink of an eye. It wasn't even a contest. But now, yeah, they're playing with their food. They lose to Cincinnati 2 years ago. Oh my goodness. So last year, okay, they get it done. Boom, we're back in and we take care of business against the Eagles, Super Bowl champs. 2 rings for Mahomes. Tyreek was gone last year. Okay, now Juju Smith-Schuster, Super Bowl champ from last year, he's gone. He looks terrible now with the Patriots in their terrible year. Rashee Rice is good, but MVS is dropping balls. Kelce does not look like the same player. Travis Kelce is taking a step back. He got the whole Taylor Swift just absolute pandemonium, and it's kind of taken away from the product on the field. I think it's just a whole big scenario and cluster bleep to where the Dolphins could just take out the Chiefs and their season's over on their home field this weekend. The line makes zero sense to me because I think neutral site, I guess it makes perfect sense because you get 3 points in the NFL for a home team usually in terms of Vegas spreads. But the Dolphins might be just as good, if not a hair better roster of the Chiefs right now. But then again, it's Mahomes versus Tua, and Mahomes has 2 Super Bowls. So we'll see. And Tua just lost at home to the Bills in a game that could have had them avoiding the Chiefs and having a home game instead of going to Arrowhead. Tyreek Hill's return. I mean, the storylines are flying all over the place for the NFL. The script writers do an amazing job again. But If I'm the Chiefs, I'm happy I'm seeing the Dolphins over the Bills, but it's not that much better, right? That's still a very tough team. And I think very good matchup. So I'm excited to see how that plans and pans out for the Saturday nightcap. I think the Bills are absolutely going to blow out the Steelers. A lot of pressure on Josh Allen the last few years. He's got to do it this year. This year, it looked like they were going to miss the playoffs, and now they've ripped off 5 straight wins, get the division, steal that from Miami with a clutch play, even though Allen didn't play that well in that game that clinched in the AFC East. But now you get the Steelers 10-point cushion. Last year, you almost messed this up because that's the other thing why the Dolphins scare me, because last year they almost beat the Bills at their place with Skylar Thompson, right? We didn't have Tua. He was still coming back from multiple concussions. So, Mike McDaniel, and now with this full complement of players on offense, minus Jalen Phillips, obviously, who got hurt midseason on defense. But now I think the Bills messed around with Skylar Thompson last year as a similar double-digit point favorite in this opening wild card game. I think they just make Mason Rudolph's night absolutely, or morning, afternoon, just going to have a terrible game. It'll be low scoring. The total's like 33-37. I think it's going to be like 21-3 Buffalo. Public all over the Steelers. I think Buffalo rolls them. I also think the Cowboys blow out Green Bay. Green Bay, a nice story. Jordan Love looks good, but first playoff game, and a weak division. They've lost some games. They've won some games, lost some games. I'm thinking back to the game he lost to Tommy DeVito and the Giants. I just think this is the Cowboys with the playoff experience. McCarthy is a playoff experienced coach. Dak, I think they get it done. Rolling Green Bay, and obviously a lot of Cowboys fans kind of scared and having flashbacks to the Dez Bryant catch, no catch, or the Aaron Rodgers sideline pass and Hail Mary in Jerry World. I don't think these are those Packers. So I've got the Cowboys rolling them. Cowboys looked like, oh my goodness, they were going to make the things a little bit more of a mess this past weekend, but end up blowing out a very inferior Commanders team who also fires their head coach, Ron Rivera. That's the thing. And speaking of Draymond Green, Warriors, all this, and coaching searches, did you see this? I didn't let this slip by. Bob Myers, who? Well, he was the architect of the Golden State Warriors, right? He was the GM, Steve Kerr, Steph, Clay, Draymond, the whole company. But Bob Myers was the GM who selected all those guys and then brought KD in and what have you. And then won the last couple of years too, and stepped away. He's an analyst on ESPN, and now he is involved in the coaching search for a whole different sport. That's my dream. I love that. This guy's living this out. He's doing well. Yeah, hey, I'm a sports fan. I could do this for you in the NFL too. I know how to evaluate talent. Well, hey, sign him up. The new Commanders billionaire owner says, let's do it. Bob Myers, come on over. Let's find us a football coach. He's apparently instrumental as an advisor to the search process to replace Ron Rivera, which I find very interesting. I don't know if it'll work out, if it'll blow up in their face, or if it'll be one of the greatest moves ever. But I'm excited and intrigued to find out. I am not a fan of Man Campbell, as you know, and they are hosting Matt Stafford, the Golden Child, in his return to Detroit. He comes with a Super Bowl. He comes with the promise he once said that he would win a playoff game in Detroit. Did he say he would be wearing a Lions jersey? He heads to Detroit, 3.5-point favorites for the Lions. I thought immediately Rams, team that's been there, done that before with McVay, Stafford, Donald, and company. But the public is all over the Rams, thinking the same thing. That scares the hell out of me. We'll see. I think Man Campbell is, and that's the Jared Goff revenge game too is also interesting. So many storylines. I love it. I can't wait for this weekend. And then we'll break it all down next week on Corbett's Corner as well as we move into the divisional round. But I like the Rams, but I'm scared of how many other people also like the Rams. So we'll see if Man Campbell can actually get it done. I think the Eagles are in trouble. I think a lot of people think the same, except for apparently Vegas, because the Eagles are favored on the road at Tampa Bay. No Brady this year. Baker steps in, and they win the absolutely putrid NFC South. I mean, limping. The Eagles didn't cash their win total. They were 10 and whether are they 10-1, 10-2, and they went under 11.5. Crazy. Cash it though for your boy. Sirianni is a stooge. Jalen Hurts, is he a quarterback? Is he not a quarterback? Hurts his finger. That doesn't hurt. It doesn't help, that is. Um, Matt Patricia, randomly assigned, takes over play calling duties in the middle of that losing streak. It hasn't helped. Blown out against the Giants. Sirianni waves the white flag and basically gave up in the middle of that game because he knew he was going to make a playoff spot and he wants to keep everyone healthy. Although that didn't really help because Hurts is already banged up. The team's banged up. The confidence is banged up. And a lot of people are still saying, it's fine. They're in the playoffs. A lot of people said that last week. It's fine. You're still going to beat the Giants. It did not go anywhere near according to plan. And I would not be shocked if things go wrong as well in Tampa. Now, with that said, they have they have the better roster, obviously, right? That is a definitive statement, but is it that much better where all these different things that have gone wrong over the last month and a half, where they have been one of the worst teams in the NFL during that stretch, is that going to magically get fixed again in a playoff game on the road this weekend? I don't know. So I think and basically with all that said, I don't know. I think this is a wide open NFL year, which is awesome. We had that in college football, and I think we ended up with the top team in college football winning. And the NFL, I don't know if last year we had the two best teams, Chiefs, Eagles. 2 years ago, we had Rams, Bengals, a little bit more kind of out of nowhere, right? Um, which one are we going to have this year? Is it going to be usual suspects, Chiefs, Niners, Chiefs, Eagles, or are we going to see maybe Bills, Cowboys? Are we going to see the Rams come back? Is it going to be Stroud, right? When Burrow cracked the Super Bowl, it was like, holy crap, he's got to take it over. Is that Stroud this year? Is that Jordan Love this year? I think there's so many different ways it can go, and that's why we're here for you to break it down on Corbett's Corner.